Okay, this video is going to show you how to change a simple macro into one which is run by a user form. So if we have a look at the macro that I've made, it's called multiply then subtract. It basically performs the action on the cells that are selected. So if we run it and have a look, we want to multiply these cells by 2 and then subtract 3. And then it performs the action on these selected cells. So if we have a look at the code behind it, we've got two input boxes, which are X and Y. X asks the user what they want to multiply the cells by, and then it stores it as X. And the second input box asks the user what they want to subtract from the cells, and stores it as Y. We have a for loop which performs the action, and it goes through each cell to check if it's selected, and then performs the action on the ones which are selected. So to create a user form, we want to right click on our project, go for insert and user form, and we get a basic user form that appears. You'll notice when you click on the user form, you can look at its properties in the bottom left. Now, name is what we refer to it in the code. So for now I'm going to leave it as user form 1, but I suggest when you make your own, you change it to something a bit more relevant so your code stays readable. And for the caption, this is the title of a user form that they'll see when they run it. So if I change it to something a bit more understandable, multiply and then subtract. When you click on the user form, a control box should appear. If not, just go to view and then click on toolbox. Okay, you need to all add, for now, 2 text boxes which collect the user input for X and Y, and 2 labels which tell the user what they need to put in there. So multiply by, and subtract. Okay, so now we've got a method of collecting the user input. Now we need some control buttons to actually perform some action to it. So we'll put 2 in for now. One for OK. And one for cancel. Okay, we need to put some code behind these buttons, so we do that by double clicking on the button we want to change and it will open up the code window. For cancel it's quite simple, it's just unload me, and me is the name that we use in the code to refer to the current user form we're working on. So in this instance, me will be user form 1. Let's go back to our design view, double click the OK button. This one's going to be a bit more tricky, so if we go back to our original macro and copy the code from there. Okay, we just need to edit the input boxes here because we're not using input boxes anymore, we're using the user form. And we need to put me, which is the current user form, dot textbox1, because that's where the user input's coming from, dot value. So it'll read the value of textbox1 when the button is clicked. Y will be quite similar, it'll be me dot textbox2, because this one's coming from textbox2, dot value. Okay, so if we now run our user form, it appears in Excel. Multiply by 2 and subtract 2. It's a lot more efficient way of running macros. You can keep performing the action over and over again, or you can exit out of the user form by clicking cancel. So finally, let's make a way to run our macro from Excel by deleting the code we have in our original macro and typing userform1.show. If we go back into Excel, we can then run the user form from a macro list.